Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters, and in this video I'm going to be customizing this little Matchbox Land Rover Safari. And this was sent to me all the way from Wales by Dirk, who wants me to turn into the ultimate four-wheel drive. So I don't know if I'll be able to make the ultimate four-wheel drive, but I'll see what I can do with it. So we'll take it off the turntable and have a closer look. Definitely seen a bit of action. It's missing probably more than half its paint. It's missing, of course, the luggage and stuff off of the top there. Black base on it, metal, you can see the old writing on it. Matchbox produced this model from 1966 until 1970, and this was the first 1966 version in green. There's one post drill out, and then the rear end has a couple of tabs. So there we go, I've drilled that out. Now I'll be able to disassemble it. There goes the base. Not going to be reusing that. The interior. And then finally the windscreen there. Nice, it doesn't have any cracks in it. Probably not the hardest windscreen in the world to replace, but it would still be a bit of work. So there's the casting ready for some paint stripper. So painting on some paint stripper there. It'd probably be nice if I could keep it in frame. So that'll melt off all the paint and then I can wash it away with some water. I'm left with this. So you see all that oxidation and a few scraps of paint still left on it. So I give it a going over with the wire brush. Burnish it up nice and clean. There's our old 1960s Safari Land Rover body. Nice details on it. See all the door frames and stuff were surface relief on these old ones. So next I've got this Hot Wheels Land Rover that I bought a couple of days ago. You can see it's a nice premium model with real riders and a nice metal base on it. So I'm going to take that apart, and here is the base and the interior section with the body kit on it. So as you can see, this base lines up pretty well with the old 60s Matchbox one. So I'm going to try and meld them together so I can use that raised suspension and stuff on the older Safari. So I want to use the body kit as well. It's not going to fit. So I use a sanding sort of tool on my Dremel, and I'm going to chop out the body of the Safari until the body kit fits. So once I'd chop them out, I could fit the body kit in there. You can see it's not an exact fit though. So I'm going to have to use some filler now to filler in the little gaps around where the wheel arches are. So to do this, I've got some epoxy putty I'm going to just line the inside of the wheel arches with some little sausages of it. And then I'll be able to push in the body kit and the wheel arches into place. So hopefully that should be a pretty tight fit once it sets. So I took the wheel arches out again as well while it was setting. And here it is once it's set a few hours later. You can see I'm starting to grind away, grind it flat. So I had to do this on the front and the back, and the whole process ended up taking a couple of days. And this was how it ended up. So you can see where the filler is around where the wheel arches line up with the body. There's not too much of a gap there now. Next, I ground off the lumps on the roof there for fitting the luggage rack thing that was on it. And I also used some more putty to fill up the hole there. And I can just sand that down smooth. Next, I chopped out the Hot Wheels interior from that section with the body kits on it. I've glued in a new interior. I couldn't fit the old Safari interior in there, so I pinched another one from some other random model that I'd pulled apart. Now it's got nice bucket seats. Now I wanted some little jerry cans, and I found them quite hard to find, so eventually I bought a 1/72 scale Army model kit, and it was like $30, so rather than waste the 3 jerry cans that were on it on one Hot Wheels car, I'm going to make a little mold of them with some rubber, and then I'll be able to cast in little jerry cans whenever I need them. So just mixing up some silicone rubber here, I'll be able to cast a little mold. You can see I just used an old piece of packaging from another toy car to make the mold casing. Probably a bit bigger than I need actually. Anyway, I fill it up with the rubber until it's up to the base of the jerry cans. So when I cast them, I'll just be able to pull them out as soon as they've got flat bottoms on them anyway. So here it is a few hours later. Once it's set, I can just pop the jerry cans out there. Now I can pretty much make some little tiny jerry cans for my Hot Wheels cars whenever I need to. They're a little bit smaller scale, but not too bad. Then I just mixed up a small amount of resin. Mixing it up slowly, try not to get any bubbles into it. It seems to go really bubbly, this resin, for some reason, and I don't have a degassing chamber. Anyway, then I can pour my little jerry cans. And again, leaving them a few hours to cure. And I can pop them out. Just sand it off the bases. And I had my little jerry cans. And then I could use one to put in the rear of the Land Rover along with a chain there. There's also enough room to fit another spare tyre in there once it's all put together. I made a new bumper to go on the base section there. Let's see how that fits. I use a pin vise and a little tiny drill to drill a little hole in the rear door where I can use a axle that I've cut in half to secure another spare tyre on there. I also added a little shelf on the back there as well that I'll be able to put a jerry can on later on. So now time for some paint. Start out with some white primer. Gave it a decent coat on the roof there. Then I masked that off. And I spent a good day deciding what colour to do this Land Rover, and I decided on a blue, green, grey. Thought it looked a pretty tough colour, especially once it got a gloss on it. But still really suits the Land Rover. So next I've detailed the grille and the door handles and lights, etc. And I've also made some little custom license plates that say Dirk's 4x4. I used a little bit of PVA glue to glue one onto the front and rear. Then I could seal all of that off with some nice gloss varnish. And then I glued another jerry can on the back there, this one with a strap on it and a spare wheel. Painted the interior just basically black, and I detailed a couple of extra gauges I'd stuck on there and the jerry can and the chain. Painted the base black, and I just used a little bit of silver weathering powder just to highlight the undercarriage. It's the diffs and the drive shaft, etc. And both of these parts were finished with a satiny matte varnish. And finally, here's the windscreen. Reasonably delicate, so I'll be careful not to put any cracks in it while I clean it up. You can see it's fairly scuffed and grubby. So here it is after a wash and some soapy water. It's actually looking heaps better, but still a bit scuffed. So I gave it a sand with some 2000 grit sandpaper and a really good polish with some plastic polish. And then it came out looking like this, quite a bit cleaner and shinier. And so there's all the work done pretty much. Here's all the parts of our little Land Rover Safari refurbished and ready to go back together. So we'll take a quick look back at what we started with. Made it all the way from the 60s. A bit battered looking, missing a bit of paint, lost its luggage along the way. But can we make it into the ultimate four-wheel drive? Let's see how we went. And here it is, our finished custom Matchbox Land Rover Safari, kit bashed with a Hot Wheels Land Rover to raise it way up off the ground. It's got that cool body kit on it now. New beefier bumper at the front there. Spare wheel on the back. And it's also been given a jolly good tidy up and new paint job. And it's also got a nice new custom interior with some cool bucket seats. So ready to head out on some hard out safari adventure with Dirk at the wheel. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And Dirk, I really hope you enjoy the build, mate. Before I go, as always, a big thanks to my awesome Patreon supporters. Thanks heaps for helping to support the show. Check out the link below if you want to help out as well. You can also get some cheap super glue down there. Thanks heaps for watching. I really hope you enjoy this video. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see similar stuff. And I'll catch you in the next one.